Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome to another installment of your Daily Detroit. It's February 4th, 2020, and I'm Sven Gustafson.
And I'm Jer Stays. We're taking a break from interviews to run down some of what's happening around town. On today's show, Amazon and Rivian share new details about their electric delivery vans.
Pontiac is looking at making changes to the Woodward Loop surrounding downtown.
Detroit City FC has its first TV deal.
Would you go to happy hour at a sushi joint in a Meijer?
Yes, indeed, there will be more kebab in Detroit.
The Soul of Detroit is opening in Sterling Heights.
Plus, Ford has announced winners of its City One Mobility Challenge.
All of that right after we let you know that if you like what you hear each day here on Daily Detroit, you should consider becoming a member. For just a few bucks a month or whatever you're comfortable giving, you can help us continue pushing Detroit's conversation forward through smart conversations, interviews, and stories.
After all, independent media depends on the support of listeners like you. Join our fellow members at patreon.com/dailydetroit. And thank you.
There are new details about the fleet of delivery vans that Plymouth-based Rivian is building with Amazon. A video released Tuesday seems to share some interesting possible features. One, an all-screen digital dashboard. Another, modular and replaceable bumpers. Multiple battery and drive configurations, including all-wheel and front-wheel drive, are in the package. Possibly cargo boxes with magnets in them to keep containers upright. Also, there will be built-in software connections to Amazon's logistics management system. The goal is to have 10,000 of these delivery vans on the road by 2021 and 100,000 by 2030. We'll put a link in the show notes to the video.
Sven, man, what do you think of the look of this thing as it's coming together? I mean, on a practical point, ever since we even went to the Rivian facility in Plymouth, I like the simple, practical ideas they come up with, and that bumper is simple, and I don't know why everybody doesn't have this, because I don't know how many people I know have spent thousands of dollars replacing bumpers, especially the newer kinds.
Yeah, for sure. Good idea to make easily replaceable bumpers for delivery vans that are going to presumably take a lot of knocks and get kind of beaten up going around town and stuff. But they look great. They're going to be made in 3 different size van configurations. They're going to support multiple different battery sizes, different power capacities, essentially, depending on the route needs for the specific vans. I wrote about this recently for Autoblog. Rivian is doing its manufacturing. They're setting up their factory. It's a former Mitsubishi plant that they bought in rural Illinois, where they're going to be building their own cars, and then they're going to have a separate line devoted to these, what they're going to be labeled prime delivery vans. So really exciting. They're also going to, not surprisingly, have Amazon Alexa to help the drivers back in the cargo bay to sort packages and everything without having to, pull out a handheld kiosk or whatever.
Which, it's all about saving time. It's all about efficiency, right? And
it's Amazon's world. We just live in it.
That's true. And I got to say, this came across as a very Apple-like presentation of all of this stuff. And this idea that, every inch is thought of. Well, I will just add for people who may not know, is that modeling cars out of clay has been around for time immemorial. And although it looks really cool and it's really a skill, it's also not new.
Nope, not at all.
Woodward Avenue has made a counterclockwise loop around downtown Pontiac for decades. But the Widetrack Loop, as it's known, could be in for a redesign. The Oakland Press reports that the Michigan Department of Transportation recently represented its proposal from 2018 to Pontiac city officials to gauge interest. The city in 2014 commissioned a study that recommended converting both the north and southbound sections of the loop into two-way streets as a way to increase foot traffic to downtown and better connect it to the neighborhoods. MDOT's proposal would convert the northbound or east side of the loop to a two-way local street. The west or southbound side would stay as a 5-lane state roadway, but convert it to 2 directions, with a new intersection at the south end of the loop. Planning would take 2 years, and the project carries a price tag of $14 million. Sven, I'm just going to say my own personal preference is that I hate that loop with a fiery passion, because I think it kind of helped empty even more so out of downtown Pontiac, and I just don't like that much roadway.
Widetrack Loop is something that kind of materialized in the late 60s, and it was definitely something kind of part of that whole urban renewal phase, which I think is widely seen as maybe in some cases well-intentioned, but just very poorly done and heavily destructive. It's, ruined a lot of neighborhoods here in Detroit too as well. And urban planners widely regard Widetrack Loop, the way it loops around downtown Pontiac, as a disaster for downtown Pontiac, because what it did was Woodward Avenue used to go right through downtown Pontiac. It basically spilled you out onto Saginaw Street, which is kind of like Main Street for downtown Pontiac, right? Now that you have this loop, there's no reason to go into downtown Pontiac anymore. And worse, you're seeing the back of buildings in downtown Pontiac. Remember, it took out a bunch of construction of the loop, took out a bunch of local streets as well. So now you're seeing like the back alleys behind downtown buildings. It doesn't look particularly nice. It doesn't make downtown Pontiac look particularly inviting. And there's literally no reason to go there now. Like, you have to actually, deliberately go there as opposed to going through there if you're going to points north and encouraging you to stop. So widely seen as a huge blunder. So they've been talking about, the city of Pontiac's been talking about, doing something and trying to reverse this for years as part of broader efforts to try to rejuvenate its frankly kind of moribund downtown. So, we'll see if this is going to go anywhere. MDOT says that they're willing to work with Pontiac to try to identify funding to get it done. I mean, clearly it's not going to be anything that's going to happen in the next couple of years. It's more of a long-range thing.
So long term, do you think this would help turn around what's been? I mean, there's a few shoots of activity in life, of course, but it's been pretty moribund up there. You have not heard the same buzz of downtowns as you have in downtown Detroit, Ferndale, or Royal Oak, or even Birmingham for that matter.
No, I mean, I used to work at the Oakland Press, as we've mentioned before. And, I remember years ago, we did a series of stories on the city of Pontiac, and we focused on downtown and talked a lot about the Widetrack Loop and everything. There was also, I don't even know if it's still open, but there was a diner downtown that had framed historical photographs of downtown Pontiac all over the wall. And they were fascinating to see, partly because it was like an exercise in what's no longer there, right? Downtown Pontiac nowadays, when we talk about Detroit suffering from an overabundance of surface parking lots, it's got nothing on Pontiac. Like, Pontiac is almost all surface parking lots, just vast seas of asphalt. So much cool stuff. Buildings have been destroyed in downtown Pontiac. I mean, the old Oakland County Courthouse was like the same sort of architectural style to rival the Wayne County Courthouse in downtown Detroit, right? Gone, destroyed. I'm not sure when, probably around the same era, and they built the new county complex out on Telegraph on the border of Waterford Township and everything. But I mean, it's a shame what has been lost in downtown Pontiac. And I mean, this could be a start maybe to increase pedestrian foot traffic and everything. But I think, frankly, downtown Pontiac's got a lot of work to do to try to come back. Detroit City FC has its first ever TV deal. TV20 Detroit will air 12 city home matches for both its men's and brand new women's teams, starting with the men's home opener at Keyworth on March 21st. Stroh's will be the presenting sponsor for the broadcasts. City has been providing live streams of its games since 2015 on its websites and at mykuju.tv.
Kuju.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
It sounds like a candy.
There was no word about who would host the games for WMYD TV 20.
Now, that I had forgotten their call letters. That's a thing.
Yeah. Le Rouge men's team kicks off its first full season as a professional club March 21st when they host the Oakland Roots at Keyworth Stadium in Hamtramck. It's one of 4 spring home matches that will be broadcast on TV 20. The new women's team kicks off its inaugural season playing in the United Women's Soccer League in May. Their schedule has yet to be announced.
I got to say, this is a TV town. We love our broadcast TV around here. This is a really good thing for them and will help build their audience even wider beyond their passionate fan base.
Absolutely.
Charlotte, North Carolina-based Hisho Sushi is opening up a combination sushi and craft beer bar in Brighton. And it'll be located, wait for it, Sven, inside a Meijer. They're collaborating with Bell's Brewery to open what they're calling the nation's first Hisho sushi and craft beer bar.
That is not easy to say. Hisho sushi.
This is one of those things that I feel like if I have a few drinks, I'm not going to be able to do this story. Now, you might know that Hisho is a national thing, but here's my question. Happy hour at Meijer? Their idea is behind this and this is their words, not mine, to redefine the experience of a visit to their local grocery store. So insert your PR speak here. The 840 square foot space is hiring 15 people, including sushi chefs. It's set to open this weekend at the Meijer on Grand River up in Brighton, just south of I-96. Sven, happy hour at the Meijer, is this what we're doing?
I guess so. Well, think about, I always notice that when I go to the grocery store, unless I just ate, I usually get ravenously hungry. So good idea from that perspective. I think secondly, bars or serving alcohol in grocery stores that's kind of a thing now. I mean, the Whole Foods in Midtown, you can get a pint while you're, wandering around filling your shopping cart. There's a couple taps there. The Whole Foods up on Big Beaver in Troy has an actual, like a full bar inside there. I think Plum Markets may have bars. Yes, they do have bars in them as well. So that's becoming more and more of a thing. So, hey, why not? I mean, anything to get people in the door and extract dollars from their pocketbooks, right?
I guess I know what we're doing with engineer Randy later. So apparently you'll be able to get the soul of Detroit at a new restaurant in Sterling Heights out by Lakeside Mall. According to the Macomb Daily, the minority-owned restaurant will offer Southern-style cuisine not available right now in that part of town, as well as music like jazz and R&B, with a goal of opening February 15th. Soul of Detroit is looking to transfer a liquor license, and there's another restaurant looking to do the same thing, First Watch. That's a breakfast chain that's reportedly one of the fastest growing in the nation. They have multiple locations in Metro Detroit. First Watch needs a license transfer to offer mimosas and Bloody Marys for brunch. I'll put a link to the full story in the show notes.
Detroit apparently is really digging doner kebabs. A new entrant to the German and Turkish culinary craze will be Supergeil across the street from the 2 James Distillery in Corktown. It's being built out by the owner of 2 James. The space across the street will also house a bottling and blending operation. Crane's Detroit Business reports that the $2 million restaurant will be ready in the fall. Balkan House started the meat cooking with their location in Hamtramck, and they recently opened another in Ferndale. Jer, 2 things. Nice job on starting the meat cooking. That was well done.
I had to do something different.
You are the punster. Also, I'm sad to say I've never eaten doner kebab.
Dude, you of all people, would really very much appreciate the doner kebab. I think it's vertically roasted, spit roasted meat. So the meat's gone vertical.
Some vertically roasted, spit roasted meat.
Well, it's gone vertical, like Dan Gilbert likes to say his buildings will. And the thing I appreciate about this, I think you'll appreciate about this, there's like super tasty salad fixings on it. Like the last one I had was like cucumber and like spices and dressing. It was really good. And then it's like in a pita cone, which makes it even more convenient and useful and tasty.
Yeah, I've been meaning to check out the new Balkan House location in Ferndale, right in my neighborhood.
There's news about the Founders Tap Room in Midtown Detroit. If you remember, it closed indefinitely about 3 months ago after an African-American employee sued the company, claiming racial discrimination in the workplace. And, well, it all blew up in the public eye. The matter was settled for an undisclosed sum. The tap room on Peterborough will finally reopen this Thursday, February 6th. Founders also said that it's going to team with Detroit at Work, the city's job training arm, to hire more Detroit residents.
Way back in June, we told you about a crowdfunding initiative Ford was unveiling around the idea of improving mobility in the Corktown neighborhood, where it's creating a sprawling new corporate campus. We now have the 3 winners from the City One Michigan Central Station project, and we'll go through each of them in turn. Mercy Education Project is a nonprofit charity that proposed creating Rock City mobility stations. They would feature a kiosk stocked with signage, maps, bus schedules, parking, and other information located near a central location for various types of transportation like bike share and scooters. Winner number 2 is AbleLink, a technology company focused on helping people with cognitive disabilities or other special needs navigate transportation options through a customized Wayfinder app. Lastly is a team comprised of the Downtown Detroit Partnership, DTE, and local artists for their proposal seeking to improve safety, walkability, and aesthetics on the Michigan Avenue Bridge over the Lodge Freeway. It would add a public art installation from local artists, along with street furniture and other amenities. The idea is to better connect Corktown and Southwest Detroit to downtown. The three winners will split $250,000 to fund pilot programs to test their proposals. Ford says it received 164 proposals to improve mobility issues in the neighborhood. We'll put a link to more information in the show notes.
All right, and we're done for today. Thanks so much for listening to Your Daily Detroit. With that, I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Sven Gustafson. Take care of each other. We'll see you around Detroit.